The cold weather in Florida is stopping you. How cold is it? How cold is it? Evil Foundry, good morning. Welcome. Hey, Nika Grace, good morning. Thank you for getting your heart, me, and for the Go Popular. How are you this morning? Gordo, how cold is it that you don't want to go out and get your breakfast? I'm good. I'm here. I'm here. Feeling mellow moodish today. 53 degrees. Thanks for getting your heartbeat, Feral Mom. Feral Mom, do you have a lot of things on the list today? Hey, Maximalist. All right, y'all. So what I was talking about yesterday is now this next round, I'm going to start refining these sketches a little bit. Oh, Maximalist, you leveled up. I think I looked up at just the right moment. Congratulations, you leveled up. Y'all remember when you level up and I don't see anything, let me know because I don't always see it. Level 10. I I might level 10, that's like a threshold there. Oh, Farrah Mom, I know that pain. Whether it's so one of the things to think about, Farrah Mom, is your live streams get recorded, so you can they're there for up to 30 days. So I know it's a long, like it's a long stream, but I mean, I don't do it as frequently as I probably should. But I use my live stream sometimes for content. I edit sometimes the videos. Oh, Nika Grace, you leveled up to 26. Thank you, Nika Grace. Y'all, thank you so much for like being here and supporting me in this way that y'all are leveling up in these in these rooms, in my room. Maximalist. Thank you for getting your heart me. Farrah Mom, thank you for getting your heart me. Um in my room. Nika Grace, thank you for the roses. I appreciate it so much, y'all. Y'all, I'm like slightly slower this morning, not because I feel slow, but because I put the stream back up on the YT, so I was just double checking it to make sure it was good. But it is good. Complex Berry, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. You feel slow this morning? You don't know how to pin products yet. Still working on it. You did your three. So when you go in, I mean, when you go into the live, you should see like a shopping bag there that you can add. And then once you've added the products, you can, if you go to the three dots, one of the options is to pin. But the thing to be aware of is only pin products that you're showing on the screen. Once you're not showing it anymore, you need to remove it from the pin. You don't need to remove it from the live stream, but you need to remove it from the pin. You just did the third. Okay, so then you should. Then you should have it now. If you just did the third, then you should have it now. All right, y'all. So again, when we first created these, we were in this place where it was identifying these super simple shapes here, and we didn't address many of like the curves and things like that. So now I'm gonna go in and actually yesterday you reminded me, Feral Mom, to do a light erase here because these darker colors, because I went over with the blue so much with the lines. I'm just doing a light erase so that you all can see the red, the refine a little bit better. Actually don't like this line I put here, so I'm taking that out. Nika, and also Farrah Mom, Nika Grace is dropping some more tips for that in the chat because she does it at least to her max for the week. Oh, and another thing, Feral Mom, you're not you can only do oh wait, you know what though? You might have, I think you have enough followers. Oh, Feral Mom, I was gonna say that you only have 3 shoppable lives per week, but you have 5,000 followers. Nika Grace does not give her unlimited shoppable lives with 5,000 followers. You have unlimited now. Awesome. Jade Artistry, welcome in. How are you? Yeah, that is awesome. Oh, Nika Grace, thank you for the rosas. Oh, thank you for completing the live goal, friend. Let's see. Oh, Nika Grace left already. Let's do perfumes. Yeah, I can already see that my, where's my, yeah, my thing here is a little bit off. My, where my curves are sitting are not straight across. I mean, I really should be again leaving this for the next phase of refining, but I'm gonna go ahead and flip my page and address that. It's not perfect, but it's better. Oh yeah, I feel much better about that. It's still not perfect, but didn't I say we're practicing? You didn't get up early enough this morning. You could go live. I wonder if you should just really test out that day that I was on the live and could hear the TV. It really wasn't, it didn't disturb at all, you know? Where is the chat? I am peace and love. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us. No, I seriously, Feral Mom. And really remember that a lot of these earlier lives are going to be a little bit of practice to figure out what works, and also practice for you to get your, like, your rhythm with doing the work, and also with doing the work, and also like while you're hosting, live hosting. So if you feel like doing it, I say do it, even if you have a little bit of stuff going on. Unless people come into the room and say, man, it's super noisy, I can't hear you, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're feeling the vibe, go ahead. I would say go ahead and do it. If you are feeling that vibe, do it. All right, y'all. Here's another one where the line actually does go in a little bit again. So there is a taper. So I'm going to put this curve here because we do have a curve. I'm going to throw a little bit of a curve down here because that is there. And then I am going to do a slight taper. So this is not this, when I did the simple shape, I did it as a basic rectangle, but this thing does have a taper. It's actually more than I just put down. So I'm going to go ahead and address that taper in this refine. Oh, I'm excited. That sounds awesome, Feral Mom. That sounds awesome. adding a curve here, adding a curve here because that's where our curves are now. Sometimes when I'm doing these symmetrical, you're back, you were doing rounds. I was like, Nika Grace. I figured that's what you were doing. Um, I when I do these like symmetrical, well, attempt to do the symmetry on these sometimes, I think about the Procreate, you can draw symmetrically. So you can draw one side and then it draws the other side, the symmetry for you. And I always like, oh, you know, um, as much as I love digital, I mean, I love traditional art. Sometimes the digital like efficiencies are hard to like stay away from once you've gone down that road. But I am the most digital I'm doing is looking at a screen. All right, so I added some curves in here. Um, we are going to get some additional detail when we start to do some form, create some form through shading. But for now, from a line work perspective, I added some curves in here because you can see we had a strict straight rectangle there, but now the refine, we can refine that because we see that there's a tape on the bottle, curves are here, and that kind of thing. Catherine, welcome. How are you? Thanks for joining. So now the next thing I need to I want to do is this little this smaller bottle here. So I had drawn a circle for where it would be placed, but this obviously is not a circle, like a perfect circle. So I am going to address um that shape, where the difference with the shape. So there are some like flatter areas. So I'm going to actually start from the top of this one um, to address those differences between what the circle would be and this shape, this actual shape here. So the top, the mouth of this vessel here has, it tapers, it starts a little wider at the top and then tapers into the curve. So I am going to actually address that. I'm also going to address that um, this tiny sphere here, I'm going to drop that in and then I'll do this taper shape here. So it flares out a little bit more than what I have here. So I am going to widen where my sphere is. I'm going to make it a little bit wider than the bottle, that the rectangle that we had dropped down as our initial. So a little bit wider. And then I'll take that curve. So where this rectangle met the circle, I'm going to eat that. I'm going to create that curve right there. Same thing here. So our basic shape was there, but now I just added the curve on either side. Not perfect, not perfectly symmetrical, but um puts us in a place where we can see, and it made it easier to create that line because we already had that basic shape there. Hey, Make It Shatter, good morning. Thank you for getting your heart me. Thanks for the Go Populars, Nika, Grace, and for the shares. How are you this morning? Okay, so then our shape kind of has it's not a flat edge, but it's certainly flatter than a circle here. So I'm just addressing that with still my circle as my guideline, because guess what? We had already created perfect placement for where this should be. Now this also down here has a flatter base. It does have some curve in here, but it has a flatter base than what we had down before. And so now I'm just following that shape, trying to I'm following the circle because that was my basic shape to follow. It gives me a guide. And then I'm just kind of adding those flatter areas as I go around it. And so it's not perfect, but you see that it's no longer a circle. Tika teaches the truth. Good morning. Welcome in. Nika Grace, thank you for the donut. Um, User 308363. Thank you for joining. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for the rose, Tika. So you can see now that our circle turned into something that looks more like this shape. The circle was super helpful though because it created this guideline. That basic shape of the circle was super helpful because it created the guideline for me to follow in that refine. So now I'm going to move on to the next shape, which is this bottle here. And as you can see, we had basic shapes creating the initial sketch. So a rectangle, a triangle, and then another longer rectangle here for the mouth of this bottle. Hey Sheena, good morning, welcome. Tika, thank you for the donut. I appreciate you. Rebecca, welcome in. Alimo's Art. Hello. Good morning. Um, Folks, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Feel free to drop them in the chat. Thank you for the follow, Tika. We are doing, for the folks that are newer to the room, my name is LeeAnn. I'm an illustrator and a printmaker. And I started a back to basics drawing practice for myself. So I am here in the morning doing basic drawing exercises. We've been working on for the last couple of weeks, we've been working on drawing things, any kinds of objects using simple shapes, identifying basic shapes, putting them down on the page in proximity to each other to create that initial sketch. So you can see here we have some initial sketches of objects built with really basic shapes. Now what I'm doing is for the weeks that we worked on those basic shapes, I'm going through and doing a second pass and refining the sketch. Now taking it from the basic shape with the edges and adding curves where the curves belong, and there sometimes there are slight flare outs, that kind of thing on a bottle, you can imagine. So we are going to I'm adding more curves in. So I started this yesterday, and now we're in we're at this bottle now. So again, just it's still a simple refine, but it's you can see now the image is starting to build. So we started with our basic shapes, and now we're moving on to these curves. Thanks for getting your heart, me, Ali Moods Art. Um, Hakili. You know what, Hakili? Yesterday I didn't ask you if I was pronouncing your name correctly. Am I? I hope so. Aloha. Aloha is hello and goodbye, right? Uh, all right, let me get to this. So here again, if you notice, there is we did a straight up and down. We still have to really observe here, right? So it's not our observation of placement and all that kind of thing still needs to be in play. We created a basic rectangle here as the shape, but there is a slight taper there. We can even check it. So if I was to put my ruler 90 degrees, it's a very slight taper, but let me use a ruler that you can probably see. Oh, good. I'm glad that I'm pronouncing it correctly. I do make an attempt, and sometimes I get it right the first time. But y'all, if I'm not pronouncing at any point, if I'm not pronouncing something, your name correct the way you prefer it to be pronounced, let's put it that way, because sometimes part of it is like an accent thing, and where focus is put on a vowel or something, but I want to pronounce folks names. Ooh, Nika Grace, thank you for the paper cranes. I didn't even see those. And the donuts. Friend, thank you. um if you if I'm not pronouncing it in the way you prefer, definitely let me know and I will make the adjustment. And I'll try to remember it every week, every day. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anybody in here. All right, so again, we have a little bit of a taper here, so I'm going to make sure that my second line here is my refined line is going to taper in from that straight line. And then we have a curve. Can you all see this? I just realized, I don't know if, I hope so. So then we have a curve here that I'm going to try to follow, and another curve here. So a nice thing about the basic shapes and at these junctures where the shapes meet is if you have to add a curve, having that there does really give you this opportunity to follow. Yeah, we're beginners, right? So we're not stressing ourselves out about how long it takes. Um, if you need to take your time and follow that curve, take your time and follow that curve. Here again, if we're in our observation, there's a slight taper out here at the top of the bottle, which we kind of know typically. And there's a curve there that I'll try to address. So I'm going to do that again over here. And you'll see how slowly I'm going. Feel free to do that. Or more, whatever speed works for you. But don't feel pressure to don't feel pressure to go super fast. We're practicing, we're pacing ourselves, and we're building that muscle. So I might have added a little bit more taper here than this bottle does actually have, but we're gonna leave it. Hey Chunky, thank you for joining, and thank you for the follow, and thank you for getting your heart me. Morning, morning, morning. Blue Mango, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, we're doing some basic drawing exercises here, y'all. Thank you for the shares, y'all. Chunky, make it shatter. Everyone not sharing and liking and all the things, I appreciate you. Nika Grace said we're at 10. Ooh, look at that. Thank you, y'all. Let's do some cheers. I appreciate y'all. All right, so now, y'all, I remember this from when we were doing the initial. There's a tiny peak of the curve of the bottom of the bottle there. So I'm just going to throw tiny. Now, y'all, I could do this so that I get the right. I could do that so that I'm not, because what tends to happen sometimes if you're drawing that small of a piece. Blue Mango, thank you for the follow. Sometimes if you're drawing that small of a piece of a like a curve, I know I tend to sometimes, so I have to be careful. You put a little bit more curve on it because of the distance. It's not the full thing. So if it helps, feel free to extend that, even though you know it's not going to show, just to give yourself that swing. So you feel like you're getting the swing that is actually there. You get what I'm saying. User Miziza, thank you for the follow and welcome in. All right, so there we go. We have another bottle refining down. I'm already like looking here. But y'all remember, this is a practice that we're trying to do um repeatedly so that we build that muscle. Not that there's anything wrong with all the guidelines. There is nothing wrong with all the guidelines. But have a magical day, make it shatter. Thanks for stopping in, friend. As always, glad to see you. So, yeah, this curve here, or this practice of now this next level of refining, is something that we'll practice it to get ourselves to the place where we are. Hey Pudding Pop, welcome. Hey Be Easy, how are you, my friend? So that will get us to the place where we may not have to use as many guidelines. But guess what, y'all? Even if you don't have to use them, if you want to use them, use them. Whatever makes it, whatever makes this whole process work for you, whatever makes it easier for you, I say do it. Um, Now this, y'all. So I remember when I was doing this shape, and I think I made this shape a little bit like height wise a little bit more than I wanted to. So glad to hear it, Pudding Pop. So I am going to, in the refining, I'm going to address some of that slimming. I need to slim this out just a little bit. And I think I'll be able to do that through some of the curves that we'll add here. For the folks that are newer in the room and for the folks outside the room, my name is LeeAnn. I'm an illustrator and a printmaker, and I started a back to basics drawing practice for myself. And so to hold myself accountable, I started doing the drawing practice on the live stream every morning. So I'm here every morning doing this practice. Oh, you do Pudding Pop. Ah, I put, I post, if you take, when you get a chance, if you take a look at some of my content, I try to post um um like my the process. So I do block printing, screen printing, and letterpress printing. So I don't have much screen printing posts. I don't even think I haven't done my any screen printing in a while, so I might not have anything posted. But yeah, so yeah, I love printmaking too. I love printmaking too. So yeah, y'all, I started this back to basics practice for myself, and come here every morning to hold myself accountable. So I've been doing these super basic drawing exercises, and inadvertently, this has become like a collective education space where folks are showing, um, are contributing to the conversation in terms of their experience, their resources, tips, whatever might work. And then I am sharing as much as I know and what's happening in my practice. And we go from there. So we've set up a like a cool vibe in here in the mornings. And we're enjoying it. You just took a letterpress class this past summer and absolutely loved it. Yeah. You know, you know how everybody's posting the 2016 stuff? I've been a printmaker for many, many years. I took my first printmaking class. It was a block printing class. Um, when I was 19. So that was over 20 something years ago. But letterpress I took in 20, that my first class was in 2016. My first letterpress class was in 2016. 10 years later, look at me. I go live at 9 a.m. Eastern, Pudding Pop. So I'm here at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I do go live at night sometimes, but I pause the night lives for January. So in February, I will start them back up, but I don't know what time exactly yet. Oh, you are. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I'm here usually for at least 2 hours. So I'll be here from 9 to 11 a.m. Eastern at least. We do go over the 2 hours sometimes. So if you need to get in here a little bit later than 9 a.m., feel free. Don't feel pressure to be here right at 9 o'clock. I mean, I think one time I had to get off early because this stream was bad quality, but I'm at least here for the 2 hours. So feel free to join at any time. Horace, thank you for liking the live and thank you for joining us. Good morning. I haven't taken a day off yet. I am here every single day. Hey, Keely, are you? It's 9:43 a.m. for me now. Yeah, so I'm here every day. All right, y'all. So this one, I think I'm actually going to start my refining from the top. If you notice here, there is a slight flare out. So it's interesting. The opening of it is in line with the straight line. So I am going to do that. I'm going to just put my little ellipse here. But then there's a flare here on the bottle. So good morning, Christina. Thank you for joining. 5. Oh my goodness, Hakili. Um, I am I am glad that you're here so early. It really is so early. um, I am I will be doing the night lives, so you will get a chance to view if you want to at a more at an hour that might be a little bit more reasonable for you. Um, Christina, thank you for joining us. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Christina and Horace, you're newer to the room and haven't heard the spiel. My name is LeeAnn. I'm an illustrator and a printmaker. And I started a back to basics drawing practice for myself. So I am here every morning. I'm doing my practice. Oh, it really is, Christina. It really is. I'm doing my practice here every morning, so I'm walking folks through what I'm working on and how I'm taking this step by step. So it there is an educational component to it. So folks, feel free to ask questions if you have them. Um, for the folks that are here on a regular basis or have been here before, you know that everyone jumps in terms of answering if they have input. So feel free to ask any questions that you might have. I've been working on, for the last couple of weeks, I had been working on drawing objects, anything with using simple shapes. So I'm now going in to, again, this is a practice. So now I'm going in to Nanyamka. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. So now I'm going in to refine the sketch, still simply, but going to refine these sketches and identifying where that refining needs to happen. So again, this bottle has a taper that, because this was a regular um this was a just a basic triangle that we had laid down. um that those curves didn't get addressed. So yeah, when you hear me like stop talking in the middle, it's because I'm trying to do some concentrating. Now the thing that I already see here, again, from this is a practice, so I try my best not to go in and like get frantic about it's not perfect. And you use watercolor, colored pencil, and charcoal. So for the sketching, I'm just using, I sketch sometimes with these this vermilion Prussian blue pencil that it's just really sharpened down because I've been using it for the practice every day here. This is just my like a basic sketch tool that I use. I'm a printmaker. So I don't, if I do paint, it's usually with acrylic, like paint on canvas, it's usually with acrylic. And if I paint on paper, I use gouache. Actually, I'm a gouache girl. um I have used color sometimes in my sketchbook. I'm doing like colored, I usually use colored pencil with acrylic paint markers actually. I combine the two and use the colored pencil for a lot of the blending. um Charcoal, I haven't used charcoal in a long time. I mostly use charcoal in art school. um, when I was doing art classes, when I was doing my degree. So haven't used it in a long time. Not for any particular reason, but I already work messy, so I don't want to add charcoal to the list. But that sounds awesome, Christina. Do you post work? All right, y'all. If you remember, I was saying, actually, now that I look, maybe I wasn't so bad. Right here is where I just want to lean that out a little bit. And again, that's part of that refining. I'll add a little bit of a curve here to address the curve at the bottom here. But because of how I laid down my initial shape, I just really am following it. I just needed to lean this out just a tiny bit, and that actually feels good to me. All right, look at that, y'all. We are done. So we went from basic sketch. Ooh, thank you for the follow, Christina. I appreciate it. You just got a new set of charcoal. You don't know what you're drawing with it yet? A snack be easy. Draw a snack. All right, y'all. So you see here how we went from the basic shapes with the edges to adding in our rounding sections to adding in some additional detail with the shape. Like for instance here we had a basic shape of a circle outline, but now we added in some of the areas that were slightly flatter because it wasn't a perfect circle. And now y'all, I keep doing it. I was minimizing my sheet with my fingers. Art Matrix, good morning. How are you? Heatherina, good morning. Welcome in. I do it all the time, Christina. So folks, just as an FYI, I'm doing this practice traditionally, intentionally. I have some thoughts, and I post a lot about using analog to balance our digital um art matrix. I like that idea. To balance our digital consumption, our screen time, etc. But let's not get it twisted, y'all. I make lots of art. I draw digitally all the time. It's just that I wanted to go down this basics, back to basics practice. Um, I wanted to go down this road in a traditional way to create some of that balance for myself, because I actually primarily draw digitally. From a production standpoint, for me it works out better, and I know we all love Procreate, and I do too, but I actually much prefer Adobe Fresco, because as a printmaker I have Vector is my friend in terms of lots of things, creating plates for letterpress, creating screens for screen printing, and even sometimes some of my block printing work, depending on whether or not I want to scale things. So I use Fresco primarily because it has vector brushes, but then additionally, because in my I do use the Adobe products, y'all. Say whatever you're saying, feel however you want to feel. I use them. Um, and so I and so I export from Fresco to Illustrator literally daily. So this is not a space where I'm saying you use Adobe products too, Horace. Yeah. This is not a space where I'm saying traditional is better. Okay? I love the traditional and approach, and I do it, but I think there's a balance. So digital is great. You said you're it's very overwhelming for you, Christina, the transition. So folks that have made that transition or are in that transition, what I have found, Christina, is there's this element of, just in general, I think naturally when we're making that kind of transition, we tend to want to treat it the same way. And I would venture to say that it's different. I think that there are elements of it that that have a different approach than the traditional approach. So if you're trying to draw in a traditional way digitally, that's where some of the frustration comes in, if that makes sense. um I've found that kind of thinking it from the perspective of like you're learning something new, um and approaching it that way is a little bit easier. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to go from the traditional to the digital. I think if you try to address certain things in exactly the same way, it doesn't work. And also take into consideration that what the tools that you're using, the brushes that are like out of the package brushes, there are lots of brush options that you could try or test out that you might actually like and might get you to where you want to be visually. You I think I said hi too. So I would say think about it like that, Christina. Now Art Matrix has me thinking about like this this sketches into like wallpaper. I feel like the building sketches would be a good one for that. Maybe we'll test it out. Hey True, good morning. I just saw Blondie. Good morning, Blondie. How are you, friend? I wasn't sure if I was gonna see you today. How are you? True, how are you, friend? That's a big smile there. You're okay? All right, Blondie. You're okay today? All right, True. We take it one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, even, right? Uh, you have a test today. All right, Blondie. When you're not next to me. All right, y'all. Now, what my challenge is, if you were here with me yesterday and I didn't, Horace, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Doggo Sam1, welcome in and thank you for the follow. So if you all were here with me yesterday, you know what my challenge is that I went through this whole initial phase of these initial sketches, and for some reason I saved, so I'll show you all some of what I've, so we did still basic still life stuff, then we started on building facades. Every time I think of the building facades, True, you remember you're the one that requested buildings, do you remember that? Building facades, and then we went into a little bit more depth on the building facade side. So we're going to be refining all of these. Then we went into cars and boats, y'all. So that was cool. But needless to say, I've been taking the references from Pinterest. Here's one that I refined yesterday. Um, I've been taking the references from Pinterest, but guess what? Um, I didn't. I feel like I didn't save a lot of these. You are a president person. What does that mean, True? So the this image I found it great. Now I need to figure out where these other ones are. Um, when you're not. So y'all listen to the beautiful tunes for a second while I'm like going through my saved pins to see if maybe I can find these ones. Present. You said, I'm like a president? You saw me? I was like, what does that mean? You are present. You are present. Present. Oh, yeah, they do have so many ads. And Christina, what we also were talking about yesterday and have about in here is that in addition to so many ads, they also have so many um AI generated images too. So ooh, we have to be mindful. I think I thought I did this one. Maybe not. Oh yeah. I love this song. I love the beat. What song is this? I think I might need to do this as a Why don't you? Y'all, I might need to do this as a dance break video. It is, right? You saw me? I was like, maybe I need to do this as a dance break video. We like this one. Gordo, did you go get your breakfast? Gordo, you made me think I need to check the temperature outside. Because, I'm also in Florida. Now that you came back, I'm like, wait a minute. I need to check. It's 65 where I am, which I'm good with. Actually, I might print since it's that temperature today because it gets so hot. My garage doesn't have AC. So it's hot. Sometimes it's hot. All right, y'all. Let's see if maybe I can find. Ooh, y'all, I found one. Look, this one. You're on your way to St. Cloud. True. Is it super cold by you? Y'all, so I found another one. This is this. Ooh, lots of snow. Well, stay inside where it's warmer than outside. All right, y'all. The good news is I found another one. So let's start on refining this one. You said 100. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Cat Meow, welcome in. Thank you for joining. All right, y'all. So I am actually going to start with this vessel here. And I'm going to start from the top. This, you can see here, we have some curves happening here that are not addressed here. There is a slight opening that's shown here also. So I am going to put a super skinny ellipse here to address that. And then I'm going to follow the lines and add some curves. Let me see. Y'all, I like my pencil super sharp. I said it yesterday, but y'all, I am very excited that like I have sharpened this pencil down to the nub. That means that I'm working hard, y'all. I like it. Elle, good morning. Thank you for getting your heart, me. How are you? I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time. All right, y'all. So I'm spinning my paper a little bit, and um, this is probably skinnier than it needs to be, but I'm putting that there. I mean, it's thicker than it needs to be. It could be even skinnier. You're going to the village inn for breakfast, then you might go thrifting. Gordo, that sounds like oh yes, Elle, that's true. Back to work means you have less time to flit about these streets and even go live. Yes, that is true, Elle. Um Gordo, that sounds like a delightful set of activities for the morning. Have a wonderful time. All right, so there's a lit. Oh, y'all, I keep forgetting to do the erase thing. So, just an FYI, y'all. Usually, I'm a lot lighter handed on my initial sketch, right? But I'm messing up, y'all. The reason this paper is reacting this way is because it's just regular old printer paper, so it's not the best quality. So just keep that in mind. And I don't feel too attached to the paper. So if it bends a little bit, don't worry. So again, I'm doing this initial erase so that actually y'all can see the red a little bit more clearly. But I would normally have done the blue a little bit lighter, but it would have been difficult for you to see. Oh, Gordo, that's absolutely good. Get yourself some sun. Um, I I need to get out myself today and get myself some sun. I mean, it's coming in here, but I want to feel it on my face, you know? Hive Creations, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome back. How are you? All right, y'all. So now I think you'll be able to see this a little bit better now that I've made the um. So there's a curve here that I want to get. There's a little bit of. Now, if I look carefully here, this straight line, again, we did this as a trapezoid, so there's a straight line on the bottom there, but that actually does have a slight curve. So I'm going to put that slight curve in and then get us set up here. Put that slight curve in. It helps me figure out this curve here. So I feel fairly good about that. Again, remember we're practicing here, so we're getting ourselves to this place where hmm, we're getting ourselves to this place where we're doing this repeatedly, repetitive practice so that we can build the muscle. I'm sorry, y'all. I lost my train of thought for a second because I was processing something on the photo. Something that I am saying I'll go over it because I have to address it. I don't have to, but it would be helpful to mention it. Jen Sinklers, welcome back. How are you? Good morning. Just trying to make sure I got everybody here. Y'all, while you are here, I appreciate you hanging out, and please, when you get a chance, every now and again, keep tapping that screen um to like the live so that we can get pushed out a little bit more to so more folks can join us. Gordo, I'm reading your comment. Thanks. Be easy. Thanks for liking the live, my friend. Um, Sheila has thought prices because she was thinking about pancakes. Oh, Gordo. Not quite, but I was. You're. I'm hungry right now, but I can wait until I get off the live. But now that you said it, I might have to do some pancakes. Sassy Scorpio, good morning, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Because I was like, Sheila, who's Sheila? And what prices? Then I was thinking about the thrifting, and then I was so confused. So that makes sense. I lost my train of thought because I was thinking about pancakes. Pancakes definitely would make me lose my train of thought. I know. Let me tell y'all something about this. The autocorrect, I feel like the autocorrect on while you're in a TikTok live, I feel like it's like even more intense. It completely changes what you type sometimes. That could get a little tricky, y'all. All right, so now this one, it actually, if I'm thinking about a straight line here for the trapezoid that I drew, that curve comes in a nice little amount there. So I'm going to go ahead and address that. So I'm giving it a little juice here. And then I'm going to try to match that over here. Again, just taking my time and using that original line as a guide for myself. And we're still observing, but now we're looking at things like, all right, my trapezoid was here, my straight line is here. What does that curve look like here? What does that curve look like there? Autocorrect can ruin relationships. Gordo, is that really the reason you're single? Autocorrect? Come on now. Tell us the truth. Autocorrect ruined it for you, friend? Is that really the case? All right, y'all. So now here, this curve is a little bit sharper probably than what I have here, but I am going to leave that um for that next phase of refining. I do want to drop this slight curve line that's here. Again, it's a slight curve. Um it's not super deep. The thing that the reason I lost, people misunderstand and then they jump to conclusions. Ah, and they don't ask you to clarify, Gordo? Y'all, the tangents we get on in here. Now I'm interrogating Gordo about autocorrect ruining relationships. I love it. So now for this, the reason that I lost my train of thought is what I realized is when I was placing down these initial shapes, proximity here, I got it a little bit, it's a little bit off. So if you see here where this joint is, actually, now that I'm looking at it, it's not that far off. Where this joint is, this point here is this point here, right in the middle there. That's two shapes, a trapezoid this way and a trapezoid that way, upside down, however you say it. Not the jealous woman. Oh, the jealous woman doesn't ask for clarification. The jealous woman doesn't want to have a conversation about it. Gordo, let me tell you something. I'm willing to bet that it's not all autocorrect. You asked your mom if she had pasta, but it all. what did what did you, Gordo? You see that laugh you put there? That means you know what I'm saying. Be easy. What did your mom say? What did your mama say? Be easy. I'm crying. All right, y'all. So, what I was saying is that the reason I was thrown off a little bit is here, my placement of these shapes is slightly off. Because technically, probably this line should meet that juncture a little bit, or at least be a little bit closer. But remember, this is practice. She called you like what the she doesn't. That is funny. That is funny, Be Easy. See, Gordo? Be Easy's mother called to get clarification because she was thinking to herself, something's going on here. I need some clarification about this. Gordo, what's going on? Why aren't you getting calls for clarification? Hey, love, how are you? Thank you for getting your heart me. So that's what made me lose my train of thought. But y'all remember, we are practicing. So this was the start of the practice. The more we go practice this initial identification of the basic shapes, where they're placed in proximity to each other and relate size wise in relation to each other, all those types of things, we will get better and better at it. We'll build that muscle, and we'll those types of things, you'll get closer and closer to that precision. Now again, hey Catastic, welcome. Good morning, how are you? Now remember, this is just this initial practice. This is just this initial phase. When you start to recognize things that you like about different tools, about different ways that you're making marks, you start to potentially. Oh, Gordo, I'm not doing guests on the lives in the morning because I use TikTok Live Studio and it has TikTok Live Studio has issues with the audio for guests. So there's a lot of echo and reverb and the people in the chat cannot hear the guests. So until I can fix that, um while I use TikTok Live Studio, I don't do guests because it doesn't work properly. I only do the guests in the night when I use the phone to go live. Was that intentional, that request? Not that we mind chatting with you, Gordo. But we wouldn't the chat wouldn't be able to hear you and then you would have a super echo. Be Easy said you have to plead your case fast if you make a mistake on the with the autocorrect, Gordo. Oh, Gordo left. Gordo must have gotten to his place for breakfast. It doesn't. Where's is Blondie still here? No, this is one of Blondie's songs. All right, y'all. What was I doing? So one of the things that I said this before, but I have an edge here. I have a little. This is more less of a curve than I have here, so I will make sure that I'm addressing that on the next go around of the sketch. So this should be a little less of a curve that here and a little bit more coming to a point. Um, but for now, I'm good with this. Um, yeah, I don't remember which line is which. I do know this one. So again, this is, I'm going to do a light drop down here for what I was saying before about the curve that sits here. A way that you can easily achieve that accuracy of the curve is by doing the full sketch, right? So one of the things that I find, I'm not saying you can't achieve it without this, but it just, we're talking about things that sometimes make things easier. This just makes it easier. I know for me sometimes, or in the beginning it might make it easier for you, because if I think about, sometimes if I'm drawing a curve, I inadvertently add a little bit of kick to the curve. Like I would have made this deeper, and probably the curve lines would have come up a little bit more on the sides, because just inevitably my hand might have done that. But by extending it through the full shape of the potential bottle, I feel like I've achieved a little bit more accuracy on what that curve looks like in that little juncture right here. Hey Dana, good morning. How are you? How are you doing this morning, Dana? All right, so I'm going to be done with this one for right now. Um, just remembering that I need to add a little bit of more of an edge here versus that much of a curve. I'm going to go ahead to this. Yeah, when I was first sketching it, I was wondering, I don't know, I don't know what would we keep in here. It doesn't have a lid. At first I was like, is it a butter crack? But usually they have a lid. This doesn't have a lid. Um, just curious. Hey Coke, how are you? Good morning. Long time no see, friend. How are you? Dana, lazing in bed. That sounds delightful. I like that. We don't mind that here. You know that. Glad to see you. Coke, how are you doing? Short stuff. Good morning, friend. How are you? Thank you for getting your heart, me. You like delight. We do. You've been good. You've been good. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I'm good. Short stuff. You're okay. Not good, not great. Just okay. Coke, pretty good. No complaints in general, Eased into the new year. Just trying to take things one day at a time, friend. Growing this place in here, more and more folks joining us. So it's been pretty good. Pretty good. Valvatine, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. All right, y'all. So let me add some. So here, now when we get into detail, y'all, this is, I can't see. I don't want to complain about the sun, but I couldn't see. So if you see the detail here, I need to drop an ellipse for that inside right here. So I did put a semicircle here. So I'm going to use that. There we go. See, short stuff. Coke is saying they hope you're okay turns to great before the end of the day. It will, right? Short stuff. All right, y'all. So I'm going to drop that ellipse here. I need to have a little bit more. And then I'm going to start adding some of the additional curves. Oh yeah, look what I did. I completely missed this whole edge over here. How long before I felt like I found my calling with art? Be easy. I mean, genuinely, I would say that when I was in high school, I realized it was something that I wanted to do, to to take seriously, which is why I talked to my parents about, oh, professionally. Okay. Be easy is like, I'm not talking about all the way from back there, lady. Um well, kind of maybe even then, be easy, because I knew I wanted to do some kind of like creative, back then I knew I wanted to do some kind of create. I know that's not what you meant. Be easy. You probably typed that before I even started responding to you. I know that's not what you meant. I know that's not what you meant. Um, in high school, I knew that I wanted to do some kind of professionally do something creative. Which is why you all have heard me talk about how I went to an all girls high school, and at the time I wanted to be an architect, and they didn't offer technical drawing as an option because I went to an all girls high school and that was considered a boys subject. And so my friend and I both went to the boys' high school and found one of the technical drawing teachers to do extra classes with us after school. So we were, our parents signed on for that. And I think that was the point where I knew that I wanted to be serious. DLL, you walked right in. You walked right in at an appropriate moment. I'm not even gonna tell. Well, I could. Yeah, DLL. It was the options we had along those lines were needlework and um home economics. Thank you for the donut short stuff. So yeah, so we were able to get ourselves set up for technical drawing classes. That's when I knew I wanted to be serious about it. Um, Luckily, my parents were, for me, my parents were supportive of whatever I wanted to do in terms of creative. So then I kind of, it was like architect or graphic designer actually. In my high school yearbook, what it has like future occupation. I have DLL, yeah. Um, I have what do you call that? Graphic designer as my like future occupation. So be easy even then. So then the way of the world attacked me. When I graduated with my art degree, it was a time where there were a lot of things going on. I was young and I didn't want to do my art in a corporate setting. I didn't, I wanted to be more radical with my art and not do it under the structure of a corporate setting. Um, so instead of pursuing like a creative path for my job, um, which is super ridiculous, is I went a more traditional route for my job, and then just did my artwork on the side, and I did that for 20 years. And then in 2016 ish, I started to I started to feel unfulfilled. You had no idea what you were getting into, Dana. Yeah, graphic and web design is what I was doing, and then I mean I and illustration and stuff on the side, and then oh, be easy. I definitely never lost the desire. Let's exactly, Dina. Short stuff, you leveled up. The creative process is a wonderful thing no matter the medium. Um and so fast forward 20 years later, 2016, 2017ish, I started to feel really unfulfilled. Um, and I started having conversations with my boss then that I wanted to unfulfilled is not a strong enough word when not doing art for your job, DLL. Well, so then in 2018, I made the leap and I quit my corporate career um to be an artist, and life as soon as I walked away from my corporate job. Lots of things happened to put me in a place where then I had to figure out corporate, So and here I am. How many years is that? 8 years now later. Having a full-time artist. Not saying that I haven't had to do part-time other things, but primarily full-time artist. And from 2022 to 2025, when I opened up my print shop, I was completely full-time, running my print shop, running my stationery business. And now I closed the print shop at the end of June, and I took the time to kind of figure out how I want to function in the future, and I have some awesome stuff in store for this year. I'm excited about it, and actually taking TikTok seriously. DLL. We've had some conversations about that in here. So good morning. How are you? I just realized I didn't say hi. Um, Dana, so it's interesting, right? I'm in a weird space right now. Good morning, Artistic Avenue. I am in a weird space. Hey, Caprine Sugar. How are you, my friend? How's it going? I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time. Blondie was here a little bit earlier, but um she might be in and out. She was here a little bit earlier. She had some tests to do. Ah, that's awesome, Caprine Sugar. I like that you've been busy working. We have missed you, but it's good that you've been busy working at the Brain Institute. Dana, I'm in this weird place where I've seen the life outside of the corporate space. Um like the running of a business, all that kind of stuff. It's rough work. It's hard work. A lot of people, I think it feels like it would be such a dream to do your art full time and that's your thing. But I've had a lot of challenges over the years to the point, Dana, where I am still. I'm not saying that I'm doing it, but I am in your environment, and I like the challenge of other people's success. Yeah, I like that. Artistic Avenue in terms of where Blondie is, you mean? Yeah, she was here for a second in here, and then I think she has to go do a test, which is why she's not actively in here right now. Um, so yeah, y'all, I'm processing like the thoughts that are going through my head. Oh no, be easy, you're good. And so it's tricky, right? I just will say it's not an easy road to go down, and I already know kind of where certain things I would have done certain things differently in terms of the business. Sometimes you know better, but you just don't do better. Whatever. So one of the things Dana, yeah, those that's You get to work from home, so I'm in other people's success. Yeah, because Dana, you do marketing, right? You said that's another field being attacked, medical. You do environmental work. You can't believe we're here. Yeah, DLL. There's so much going on that is like, oh, Caprine Sugar. Thank you for the donuts, friend. Marketing strategy too. Okay. Oh, Caprine Sugar. Thank you for closing out that donut goal for me. Mika, Caprine Sugar, Tika, and Short Stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you, y'all. Y'all see that I got creativity for the win, though. Yeah. DLL, do if you don't mind sharing, what kind of environmental work do you do? Just out of curiosity, and again, feel free to tell me you don't feel comfortable sharing. I'm just curious. In the mornings here, Caprine, I have been doing the basic drawing practice exercises, but in general, I've been doing a lot of, well, more carving and printing. Honestly, I spent the last probably November and December. Ooh, DLL, interesting. Huh. You are in an interesting spot there, I can imagine. You're caught between sometimes, right? All the time probably. um I've been working on I suppose I might as well talk about it because I will start talking about it probably sometime next week or so. I've also been working on some like hey Coke, thanks for getting your heart me, like some packages in terms of like consulting and those types of things. um so I I'm leaning into something that I've been told I need to do for a long time, which is like the consulting and coaching. So I'm trying to figure out. I'm really trying to support. I'm trying to support. I'm really trying to support beginners. Sorry, y'all. I lost my train of thought because DLL has me thinking about thinking about thinking about their challenges there. Yeah. I lost my train of thought for a second. Yeah. DLL, I definitely lost my train of thought when I just read your comment. I was just like, oh, it made me like, I was just like, yeah. Um we need people out here supporting the arts and encouraging future generations. Yeah, y'all. And the thing is that what I've realized and noticed is that there's a lot of knowledge that I have about taking certain things to, depending on what we're talking about, right? About creating some efficiencies in a process, and or even taking your be easy. Like I feel like you had asked a question the other day. What day was that we were talking about like websites? Was that just yesterday? Um, you don't want to buy courses from people who sell courses. You want to support people like me. Oh, I appreciate that, Dina. Yeah, and I'm not really trying. Listen, I've bought my fair share of courses that I've never touched. Let's put it that way. And I don't want to. I'm not wanting to create a course. What I'm trying to build is a little bit of a combination of things where it supports like a DIY support thing. I know that lots of us that are starting out DLL, all the courses, lots of us that are starting out kind of don't even know where to take that first step. And you also don't have the you don't have the financial support to be able to purchase all these different things. So it would be so Coke, it would be more like a comic. So what I'm thinking of is, and I haven't fleshed them out to like completion yet. But I do want to create some like resources for folks that are trying to DIY this. Whether it's templates, things like that that will support folks. So those are certainly much more manageable in terms of financial support, right? Because lots of us have to DIY this to start out with. And I know that if for me when I was DIYing, um if there was something that was $20 template that would help me to get to a place, or a $20 whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, um I would grab it because I could use this could help me, that kind of thing. But I also wanted to create a I tend to be good at talking through folks challenges and like creating, like synthesizing it and creating like a path for folks out of the confusion. So I was thinking about that also for folks, because I have found that I've been doing a little bit of it unofficially. Not a little bit. I do it a lot, and I've been doing it a lot for many years based on what I did as in my corporate job. And I have realized that I've been doing service to folk. I've been giving this service to folks for free. When people are charging significant amounts for the same thing. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to charge significant amounts. I'm trying to get folks through the mud. Um, and on the other side, am I going to then take it to the next level and maybe offer like an additional set of um, support that is probably more expensive? Sure, but that's like a next phase if folks want to take on a next phase. But I feel very strongly about creating like an entry level that's manageable and that will get folks to the place where they feel like they know what direction they need to head in. More accessible guidance and support. Yeah. um so Caprine, I don't mind working with folks that are more advanced or established. Um, I I think that from a beginner perspective, I would be more beneficial because of my approach. The I Not that I couldn't be beneficial to other folks, but I think because of the way I approach um like educating and those type and conversation about these types of things, I think I could be more helpful to a beginner. But I think I anybody that wanted to could definitely. But I think I probably will, if I'm talking about like a target audience, I probably will target someone that's starting out or doesn't even know where. But I totally could support folks that might be quite a ways in and gotten themselves in the mud. That happens too. So I've been there. So it's one of those things where you can help folks better than you can help yourself sometimes. And I knew better. I just didn't do better. Do as I say. I say it all the time here. Do as I say, not as I do. Is Patreon profitable? DLL, I think that it depends on who you ask. I think there are components of a platform like Patreon that are helpful for folks because they don't have to then deal with the administrative support of like a subscription type model for things. And so the benefit of having Patreon manage the back end is helpful. And I think Patreon is one of those things where, and again, of course, this is a blanket statement, y'all. Michelle, welcome in. Blondie, where's is Artistic Avenue still here? Artistic Avenue was just asking for you, Blondie. Bacchanal sauce. Hello, my friend. Um, so Patreon is one of those things where I feel like if you have if you have built a community or a presence on other platforms, Patreon is something that can be super profitable for folks from a volume perspective. And again, it depends on what you're offering on your Patreon. I started a Patreon. I've wanted to start a Patreon for years. Not because I spent all this time thinking about like figuring out what would work for me, and Patreon would be one of those things. Frankly, I've wanted to start a Patreon because I've just seen people potentially doing well on Patreon and thinking to myself, oh, that's another revenue stream that I could create for myself, blah, blah, blah. Just never did it. Again, running the business, it became a different beast for me. So I didn't do it. And then when I closed the print shop down, it's too hard to keep up. DLL, sometimes I wish I had done like my consistency far years ago with my posting and stuff to establish myself, but nothing before it's time. Um so like the Patreon thing is tricky to me because I do know that there are folks doing really, really well on Patreon, but it's because they've already built themselves a community and those folks feel um I don't want obligated is not the word. What's the word, y'all? Those folks feel those folks want to support, so they loyal. That's the word. Folks feel loyal. Folks want to support, and so they purchase folks the subscriptions and the ongoing, and they also love the person's work. Let's be clear about that. You're not going to be paying to get prints or whatever it is in your mailbox every month if you don't like the stuff, or if you don't feel like you could gift it. But I do think I need a few. I need me too, Dana. So DLL, I agree with you about the algorithm on YT and IG. It's tricky. One thing I will say is that I feel good about like the TikTok space for growing the community. Marwin and Loish have loyal followers on do they have a lot of like patrons? I think that's what Patreon calls them. Hey McMay. Good morning. How are you? Thank you for the rose and for getting your heart me Coke. Thank you for that dolphin friend. Yeah, there are several art lots. I shouldn't even say several. Lots of artists are doing really, really well on Patreon. But I do think there's a component of it that means that that needs that community build up first and then pushing folks off to Patreon. And frankly, the way I feel about it at that point is um, I can build myself a subscription structure that that would benefit me, where I would get more of that revenue than if I went to Patreon. You know what I mean? But that's the stage I'm at. And that's the key here, is that I have that expertise and I can do it myself. folks, there are lots of folks that don't and have no interest in doing it themselves. And so the benefit of having Patreon manage that for them is like hands down, because it's about what works for you. So hands down it works for them, DLL. So yeah, it's one of those spaces where it's like you have to figure out what works for you. And that's kind of some of the stuff that I want to help folks with. I want folks to understand that there's no one path to get into where you need to go. Just like I say with this drawing stuff, it's like a math problem. We know that we can solve math problems in multiple ways, get to the same result. So there are ways that work for you and work for how your brain works. Structure and strategy can be heavy. I want to create the art. And Dana, the thing is that I love structure and strategy just as much as I love the creative part. So that's why I want to create this support process for folks. I don't know what it I so Dana, before I quit my corporate career, I was a project manager and solutions consultant for talent acquisition and HR technology. I don't know if maybe it's because I was doing that as my job that my brain broke. So if I they do those right brain and left brain tests. When I do them, no matter how many times I'll do one, I swing like 49-51 either way. So I am very almost literally half and half right and left brain. So I love it all. I create efficiencies even in my creative process. Angel gonna have started the Doodle Warriors website. It's for learning. I think it's subscription based. Yeah, McMay, I had an interesting set of roles where I was a combination of a PM, a business analyst, and a solutions architect. It was, it was, I loved that work. Let me tell y'all, I loved it and I miss it. I wouldn't mind getting back into it. But I also am trying to figure out if I can do it in this way where I'm not beholden to to a, a company, if that makes sense. Um, DLL, thank you for sharing these things. You know why? Because one of the things that I keep talking about, and the folks that are in here with me on a frequent basis, I say this all the time, y'all. I need to. Sometimes I think I apologize too much, because y'all aren't giving me a hard time about this. I am creating a resources page for us in this community, DLL. So every time folks share resources, whether it's tools, medium recommendations, educational resources, all of those things, I'm trying to document them in one place where we can all, if we need to, because we don't remember when folks drop resources in the chat, you don't always remember, and you might not have taken a note at that point. So I'm creating a running list of the resources that get suggested in here. So I appreciate you, DLL. You didn't even know that's how we operate in here, and you're sharing the goods. So thank you for that. Oh, you're a developer. McMay, do I need to talk to you? You do love it because you still get to be creative solutions and organized. Yeah, McMay. It's an interesting thing. You said I do apologize too much. True? I know. I'm working on it. But I feel like y'all deserve it. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to apologize to people that don't deserve it. Serena, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Serena, I'm doing my own back to basics drawing practice, so I'm sharing that with folks here in the mornings. We were actually the most of the folks in the room here are folks that are regular to my community. Thank you for the follow, Serena. So we were just chatting a little bit, and I haven't even touched the page in the last probably 30 minutes because we were running. I was running my mouth and we were chatting. But see, be easy. That's why when you mentioned it about the website thing, I think about someone like you that is so good with ideas and knowing you want to execute on certain things, but it's like you are like, I don't even know where to put my first, like, my toe in to start. that that's the kind of support that I want to provide. Make me when I'll never forget a conversation you talking about what you're saying, referring to. I had a conversation with my boss's boss once because I was lucky to um be able to work here. Coke, you know that the jams in here are good. Always. Yes. I keep saying it. I need to add more songs to the playlist, y'all. Um but he said to me, why would an artist, like, he was like, you're such a talented artist, why would you want to do this kind of work? And I said, what are you talking about? I was like, there this is creativity all up and through here. Being a solutions consultant is big. I mean, I'm using my creative skills all through it. Coming up with creative ways to optimize the process for folks, coming up with creative ways to bridge that gap between the technology and like the business process knowledge. Listen, he was like, oh, I never thought about it like that. I said, yeah. So he was like, oh, all right, I get why you love it then. So Mick, me, you get me. You get me. Angel just portraiture. It would be nice to have something similar for architecture. That's yours. Angel's primary thing is portraiture. I mean, I'm going to get into some portraiture stuff because of what I'm doing. I'm doing my back to basics practice, so I'll eventually start practicing my portraiture stuff too. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing, like, I would do um step by step, like, tutorial stuff. Ooh, Coke. Grants management. Fresh Prince, welcome in. Thank you for joining. Artsy Black people, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. See, Coke, you know exactly what see, y'all know what I'm down with. You work on process improvement stuff for your team because it's creative. Yeah. Y'all, some of the stuff that I used to, like, come up with, because so again, it was this awesome thing where I had the technology knowledge. So I knew how the system worked behind the scenes. And then I also was a subject matter expert in the business process because I had been in talent acquisition for so many years, and also as a leader in talent acquisition. So merging those two, I used to come up with some things that they used to just be like, LeeAnn. And then somebody would be like, whoa, we can't do that. That can't. And I'd be like, but what about if we do it this way? And they'd be like, how did you even think about that? Um, I'm a dot connector. I always have been. So yeah. So y'all get what I'm saying about what I'm trying to create some structure around how I could offer that to folks reasonably. Look at this. Being in administration can be like putting together a puzzle. Coke, a puzzle that's missing some pieces, friend. Okay? You know when you're putting together a puzzle and you're looking you're like, there has to be pieces missing because the pieces are missing. You know, that one or two end pieces or something, it can be like putting together a puzzle, and sometimes those puzzle pieces are completely missing. Build the missing pieces. Love it. That it's actually better, right? Heather, welcome in. Thank you for joining. And us creatives can see it. And like Dana said, we rebuild that. We come up with a creative bridge, right? Oh my God, y'all. See, I don't talk about this part. Be easy. This is all because of you, friend. I'm running my mouth this way. You are the one that took us on this tangent. Now, y'all know I love a tangent in here, and we love to talk about all kind. Oh, be stop! You know that I'm teasing you. You're good. We um we you know that we love a tangent in here, and I always feel like we always go down this road that is super beneficial to the folks that are in the room. And this is wild. I love this because Coke, you haven't even been here in a long time, right? DLL, this is your first time here. I don't remember seeing you here before. McMay just started coming in a couple days ago. Heather, you seem to be co-signing, and we just met you, Heather. So it's like the conversation always is so relevant. Talking through it, collab. It's always so relevant to the room in the moment. Even though it's our folks, it's not like a lot of new folks. It's usually our folks. So Dana, interesting, y'all. I'll tell you something that I did this year, which was it was an interesting practice. It was an interesting thing to do. I saw it. We talked about it in my homeroom for my live agency, but I also started seeing, I'm sure it's because that conversation happened on my phone, but I started seeing a lot of posts and threads actually about it, where folks were taking their Myers Briggs, no, their Myers Briggs letters. They were taking their astrology info, like their birth chart info. They were taking their human design info, numerology, those different kinds of things, feeding that information into some kind of tool, whichever one of the AI tools that you want to use. Yeah. Um, that folks use, because y'all, ChatGPT is not the only one. But you get what I'm saying, and feeding it so that with whatever the prompt is, because that's another thing. DLL, you were talking about AI, and I think that earlier, and hey Carol, thank you for getting your heart me. And I think some of the interesting thing about the AI space is that folks um do not understand the ethics around it, and in some cases um there are no ethics around how folks are using it. DLL, that's another thing that I actually have become obsessed with, is that AI ethics, and also accessibility for like technology and like websites and stuff. So that's something I'm working on for the future, but that's something I've become super obsessed with. um Ooh, DLL. Wait a minute, y'all. Carol, thank you for the high bear. Y'all, DLL, thank you so much for sending your first gift. This is what it's telling me. You can correct me if it's wrong. DLL, this is the first gift you've ever sent in somebody's room? Wait, I'm like, wait. Thank you. Thank you. I am honored. I am honored. Carol, thank you for using my single stickers. How are you this morning, Carol? Paradoxa NYC, Simone, my friend. How are you? Oh, DLL, you don't even listen. We get down in here, and we have some good folks coming in here on a regular basis. We get down in here, and we have good conversation across the board. Um, so I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate for being your place where you've sent your first gift, and thank you for the feedback. Um, you be easy. You said you've been explaining it to your brother because he doesn't understand. Yeah, there's a lot. I think that folks, it's not folks' intent, but a lot of folks, even from a creative like art perspective. Oh, good for you, Carol, with the sleeping in. Anytime I don't see you going live, I know that you're busy, good busy. So I figured, friend. I hadn't last night on the Black Girl podcast was the first time I think I saw you live this week, and so I knew you had to be super busy, good busy. So take your rest. You're healing from eye surgery. Oh, Dana, you said you don't even know what a gift is. Not a TikTok expert yet. Y'all, on Thursday nights I pause the night lives not because I don't want to do them anymore, but just because I've been working on this business process stuff in the back end. I needed the time. Um on Thursday nights we usually talk about ways to support artists, and sometimes um it depends on who's in the room and what people are interested in talking about. But a lot of the time, I end up talking about how to engage in the live stream to support artists. So I teach people about the gifting and the joining of the fan club and all that stuff. So yeah, I because a lot of people do not know how to do it, and would want to if they did. Let's put it that way. So I do explain it. It's totally, I mean, there's a spectrum, right? There are ways to support that cost $0 all the way up. So it's not like teaching people how to gift. It's about teaching people the spectrum of support, and you fall where you feel comfortable. Because liking the lots of folks don't realize that continuously tapping the screen to like the live is a thing. You tap a post and you like it one time, but when you like a live stream, if you continuously tap the screen, it um it likes the live even more and pushes it out to more folks. TikTok pushes it out to more folks. You haven't been able to see more than colors from one eye. Had surgery on the other years ago. So you had to have the same surgery, Simone. Are you home? Are you in? Are you? Was it an outpatient procedure? So you just have to. I hope you just have to rest. I hope it went well, and you just have to like rest now. DLL, I like that. Spending less on corporations and investing in creatives. They save you. I love that, DLL. And there are so many creatives here on TikTok, like folks really doing the thing. I like that you're being intentional about where you're spending your dollars, friend. That's important. I mean, Dana, you essentially said the same thing earlier about not buying any more of the guru courses, and supporting like individual creatives that you know. Y'all, I'm trying not to miss anything. Dana, you said your Myers Briggs doesn't feel creative. So yeah, so then what I was saying is that the generating of this, because essentially it becomes just an analysis of all the data. It was an interesting thing to see that things that I had already identified as my strengths, just from how comfortable I feel doing it, how I've noticed it and all of that stuff, from corporate to like to my artwork, like creative work, um it like resonated with everything. And even Myers-Briggs is one of those interesting things that changes over the years. The last time I did Myers-Briggs, I was a, I don't remember, IN something, and now I'm a EN something, which I've never gotten an E on Myers-Briggs before. But, interesting stuff. We can talk, we'll always talk about interesting stuff in here. Outpatient. Take it easy and keep your head laying down on a side position. All right, Paradoxa. So I hope you listen and you are laying down and you stay laying down. And take it easy, friend. COVID moved it. I imagine COVID moved, I'm sure, a lot of folks. COVID moved mine too. I really became a hermit, and like I then became, y'all, I used to live in New York City 15 years. Nobody loves a crowd more than me. After the whole, like, once we were able to go out, I couldn't be in crowds anymore. Y'all, it was terrifying for me. It became this thing that I was so scared to be anywhere where I felt anyone close to me. Um, I'm in a better place about, I would say that I've moved past that now, but I was there for a significant amount of time. I would say probably about 2 years. Um, yeah, Dana, I like to hear that you said that was before COVID. Empty nesting was rough. Now you like your own company. Yeah. That's good though, Dana, that you made the shift. One thing I'll tell y'all is I always like my own company. Y'all, I'm a Taurus. I people I will agree to go someplace and then be like, yeah, I'm good. But I do love my own company. Allison. Haha, thank you for the follow. I read that the right way. I think I knew it was Allison. I just I was being facetious because you spelled it that way, but I like it. Welcome and thank you for the follow. Right, Carol? I like me. I like hanging out with me. How did Snoop say it? Same, your own company is great company. Consistent and fun. Ooh, DLL, you love being invited, but you love canceling even more. And I cancel at the last minute, y'all. I have a Scorpio something. I don't remember what it is. Maybe that's what it is. You're an only child. You used to love to host and go all the places with all the people, not into people in now. Yeah, I think, lots of things impact that kind of shift too, right? So many things are happening in the world too. You said it took one bad roommate to teach you the joys of being alone. Wait, be easy. This is the roommate that had the kids. Is this the roommate that had the kids? Be easy. Y'all, so let me tell you something. I can't remember from 1 minute to the next. I can't be remember why I got up to do something. But when y'all tell me stuff in here, I tend to remember it. You really accept the invitations, especially if you think it will be a drain on your energy. See, Carol, I think that's good though that you assess that up front. I'm an acceptor, and then at the end of the day, I'm just like, I'm good. I'm not gonna do it. The one thing I will say is, if I do, I say I don't feel like going, but if I end up going, I have me a good old time, y'all. Always. So maybe I am an E. Maybe I am an E. Wait, I'm trying to make sure. Peopling has always been draining for you, but you try because it's normal. Oh, Coke. Oh, Coke. Don't even bother with the normal. Dana just became your soul sister, DLL. The kids were fine. She was terrible. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, be easy. Well, like you said, you learned that lesson. Yeah, every time somebody says something, let me see if I can find it. Y'all, I have a card. I just saw, Coke, look at this card. Look what this card, wait, y'all, you know I'm terrible at this. Oh, it's flipped. Let me do it here. I think this, look at what this card says, Coke. That's one of the cards in my stationery line. I'm like, what does normal even mean? What does normal mean anyway? Yeah, y'all. What does it mean? It's one of my favorites. I am going to have to, yeah, this is the stuff that you have to think about. It's a setting on the dryer. I love that. It's a setting on the dryer, y'all. Manifest Twin Flame Union. Thank you for the follow and welcome. D Peaches, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Glow, did I tell you hello? Glow? I think I did. Glow. Did I tell you hello, Glow? Um, one of when you talk about manufacturing and business and all that stuff, this is how we came down this road. One of the things I now need to think about with this particular card is that this ink is no longer available. And so I have to now rethink my colorway for this to be able to produce this particular card again. But just another one of those things that from a business perspective have to be on the table when you're thinking about certain things. Hey Tanya, good morning. Me too, Dana. I do like that kind of challenge because now I'm going to try to figure out how I want that to show up going forward. Ooh, Tanya, you just leveled up, friend. All right, y'all. Dana, I just saw your thing about age, menopause, societal shifts. Exactly. But we still, y'all, through all of this, we still have our creativity, our imagination, and we still have art. Um, you love that CD. Y'all, the if I have to say so myself, the the yeah, what is the name of the thing? The playlist in this room is not so bad. Our morning playlist. You want to generate the ideas and design, let someone else do the admin. Dana. Well, that's another thing, Dana, because you can get other folks to do the admin. The thing that you do need to do though is create your SOPs so that folks can do the admin in the way that you would want them to do the admin. So that's the kind of stuff that I want to help folks with, is that to create those processes, to create systems and processes in their work right from the beginning. You know, it's one of those things where you don't know it, and so you don't do it. And systems and process is one of those things that as soon as early as possible get it in place, because when that time hits for scaling, that's how you get in the mud. Because when one, I'll give you an D Peaches, thank you for the follow. Kelsey, thank you for the follow. And welcome in. When when that video goes viral or whatever we're talking about, and that time hits for any of these things, if you have your systems in place, It's not easy, but it's way easier, and you don't get caught in mud. It's so much more manageable if you do it in the beginning, as much as possible. I know it's not always possible, but if it is, get it in there as soon as you can. Again, more things I want to help folks with. Good morning, D Peaches. Implement systems and processes in your business, D Peaches. We were kind of talking a little bit about like establishing SOPs. Dana mentioned wanting somebody else to do the admin part. Get somebody else to do it, you know? SOP making is fun. You even took a 508 compliance score. So, Coke, this is how I went down this road of the AI ethics and the accessibility. I'm going to do the certification because I'm like obsessed now. This is how, y'all. All right, y'all. Listen, I've been here for 2 hours and 19 minutes. Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, Coke. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I actually, one of the reasons that I'm um listening to my own intuition, and the signs that I've been asking for, and the clarity and the discernment that I've been asking for, and I listen, is a conversation I had with the voice guru Carol West, that's in the room right now. It actually took me over that edge where I was like, what are you doing? Do it, lady, do it. All right, y'all. I am working on it. The goal is next week to have some things already established. Of course, it will evolve, and I'll add more offerings and that kind of thing. But I'm so excited actually that I mentioned it. You're into it, Coke. Let me tell you something. I've been a person that has always believed that I'm here every day, Dana, every single day, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern, and then in the nights, usually, well, Coke, you're saying that. I am glad that I mentioned it here, and I don't even. So again, be easy. That's why I will always tell y'all I don't mind the tangents, because we get to a place. Y'all help me just as much as I might help you. This whole, again, I'm building something here that I've dreamed about, but I never. Coke. Yeah, girl. 20 years in healthcare talent acquisition, friend. All my I did 1 year in education, and all my experience is in healthcare. You are me right here, Coke. You are me right here. You are capable, friend. You don't have to say one more word. Everything you said in here already, I know. Uh, Capacity is the question. You offering up help. You have the capacity. You offering up help. Y'all, so I am so grateful that I brought this to you all in this way, because it's validation. Coke is lovely. Coke is lovely. um it's validation for the things that I'm working on. It's validation for the path that I've thought through in terms of where to go. It's validation that it's necessary, and in the way that I'm going to execute it is necessary. And and also I feel like Coke is offering a second set of eyes. That's something I appreciate, you all. I appreciate all, and I probably will be doing um some super discounted early bird. My community gets to benefit in a different way from it, especially in the beginning. Hey, Miss Darlene, good morning. Unwritten Unstoppable, how are you? Benefit in a different way And so, you know, once once I get this stuff fully written out, I any help is appreciated. I appreciate y'all so much. And I say it every time, y'all. This thing that we're building in here, yeah, y'all. DLL, you saw what you walked into here. This is some good stuff here, y'all. Okay, y'all. It is 2 hours and 20 something minutes, and I am hungry and very hungry and more hungry again. Um, so I am going to head out, but this was so awesome today. It's always awesome. Oh, Miss Darlene, you leveled up, level 16. Um, Thank you all for being here. And for the new folks, DLL, D Peaches is new. The newer folks from today, y'all, you stepped into some good stuff here. Okay, what you saw today, this is really how it is. This is really how it is. So enjoy the day. Thank you so much. Have a fabulous, fabulous day. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. I will be bright here, bright and early, 9 a.m. Eastern, once again. Take care, y'all. You holla. Bye, Carol. Have a good day.